Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Labor Day. Boring! Well, what if I told you that the origins of Labor Day was drenched in blood and guts? Got your attention now? No? Who cares? I'm gonna keep flapping my gums anyway. It's time to think fast. It all started in the 1800s. Tensions over wages and labor were coming to a head. Foreshadowing. Anyways, the town of Pullman, Chicago, no relation to Bill Pullman, our beloved president from the movie ID4, was a factory town, much like Detroit in its heyday. It had a company that built luxury railway cars for trains. Most, if not all, the workers lived in company-built housing. Skilled workers lived in apartments. The managers lived in company-built houses. Pullman himself, the owner of the company, was living large in his mansion. Laborers, who none of this could have been done without, lived in practically pop-up tent housing. It was cramped, but all the stores and the clean streets, where they could buy everything they needed, kind of made up for it. Things seemed peachy. It was headed for a very dark road. It was kind of like Disney World, if they never ever let you leave. An economic depression hit. Pullman had to lower wages to deal with times. Also, while still dastardly refusing to lower the rent for his workers and in the prices of everything in stores to match the times. Who could have seen all this rage coming? Anyways, it became so dismal and so harsh that even the Chicago PD started collecting funds for these families who were working their lives away to enrich the life of just one man. Again, I say, who could have seen all this rage coming? With all this, the final straw coming up on May 11th, 1894. It seems like Pullman has a pretty huge problem on his hands because all his workers are on strike with the full backing of the American Railway Union. Guess what? The Chicago PD is not helping Pullman. The mayor at the time, John Hopkins, hated his guts. For this reason, while he was not trying to meet with the workers and trying to pretty much incend things, he didn't like the fact Pullman would do this to his workers, and therefore he just didn't have his backing. With this situation boiling up, tensions hitting Pullman, he was just in trouble. All these unionized workers were just boiling. Dude, you better smarten up and talk to them angry villagers, bro. Then Eugene Debs, the American Railway Union head, made a stunning and bold declaration saying that no unionized worker would work on a Pullman railway car. As a result, over 125,000 workers, over 29 different railway companies started to quit in support of the strike. Tick-tock, bro. You're on a speeding train with no rails. And worst of all, Keanu isn't even born yet to save you. Companies started to hire non-union workers. This, of course, angered the unionized workers, along with sympathizing supporters, and they started to build walls to block trains all over in the county. The General Managers Association, representing 26 different railway companies across Chicago, decided to hire a lawyer who would file an injunction against the strike, saying it caused a breakdown of law and order in Chicago. President Grover Cleveland at the time called up Governor John Altgeld of Illinois and said,
"Yo, bro, listen, I heard shit was wild down there in Chicago, man. I gotta stop things, man. I gotta put the kibosh, bro. I gotta send in my troops."
And then, of course, John Altgeld was like,
"Yo, B, you're tripping. Everything you're hearing is just crap. Man, don't do that. You're just gonna harsh everyone's buzz and it's just gonna get worse."
Grover Cleveland, not heeding John Altgeld's wise words, was sending in his troops anyway. Things got pretty ugly then. Gangs of New York ugly. The troops went city to city, battling against the workers, clearing the rails. When everything was said and done, fighting them city after city, there were 30 people who were brutally killed in action. And on top of all that, all of the fighting, all of this commotion caused $80 million in damages. Think about what that means. $80 million back in the 1890s is like several hundreds of millions, and it sucked us in it because above all, 30 lives were lost. Grover Cleveland installed Labor Day on the first Monday of September as a national holiday to appease the still bitter union workers. Geez, what was their problem, right? To repair his image in the wake of this massacre and his gross mishandling of the situation. On top of all this, Eugene Debs, the head of the ARU, was arrested and jailed for 6 months for his involvement, saying that he was the one that initially solely responsible for all these riots. Pullman got away scot-free most of all, except for a little of work depletion. Of course, he died of a heart attack 3 years later. Aww. Some people say it's karma for everything that started down there. Me, personally, I just think it was horrible for all those people will lose their lives. We have today the national holiday, thanks to Grover Cleveland again, after all these horrors we know as Labor Day. Remember to subscribe, if it's not too much labor, to LOS, all its subsidiaries through Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and my page, on.com on Instagram. It's been a pleasure. My name's Ayhan Ozyesil, signing off.